my friend Warren Mendes is cooking us a delicious dessert today. A very popular dessert around the world, Pavlovas, but they are slightly temperamental, aren't they?
They can be, but I've got a bit of a trick and an unconventional way of doing it that'll show you that you get a perfect meringue every time.
That's what I like to hear.
So I'm going to start cracking and separating the eggs.
Yes.
This is where you do need to be a bit technical with a pav, and you need to make sure that you're using the right weight of eggs. Here, this recipe works with 7 eggs because I'm using 50-gram eggs.
Yep.
So while I'm separating these 7 eggs, if you can just dump everything else into your mixer.
All right, so some vinegar.
Yep, so vinegar, that is going to help and coagulate the eggs, so it's just going to help it just be a bit more stable.
Sure.
And then that is just some corn flour.
Okay.
And again, that's also going to contribute to getting, you want a bit of sponginess in the center of the pav.
Okay, done. And 2 sugars.
Yeah, so because we're doing a Banoffee pav,
Oh, you
I
can
kind
see
of, I want to get the flavors of caramel in there. So using a combination of brown sugar and white sugar. So we've got half a cup of brown sugar and a cup of white sugar there.
Okay, that's caster.
Yep.
Fabulous. And I love your little technique for separating the eggs. Using your hand as that strainer is another way to assure that you don't get the egg yolks in there.
Exactly. Okay, almost there. So I've got 2 eggs to go.
Yep.
And what we're going to do is we're going to dunk these straight into that bowl as well.
Yep.
And we're going to whip for about 10 to 15 minutes. I know that sounds like a lot of time, but you need that time to kind of dissolve all that sugar.
Exactly.
So don't hold back. Whip it for the amount of time. And that way it's going to make sure that you have a really, really stable egg mixture.
Sounds good. All right, this is
Done.
ready. Ooh, looks good, doesn't it?
Awesome, look how nice and fluffy that is. So that's why it's worth waiting all that time, just to get all that air into it.
Yep.
So be patient.
Yes.
So I've got a tray here lined with baking paper, and we've got a circle of 20 centimetres drawn around it.
Yep.
And that way it's just going to give us a little bit of area to work with. So if we you can stabilise that for me.
Yep.
Dump this all straight in the centre.
And you used a bit of oil spray there to make sure that that doesn't move.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, some people use some of the meringue and stick that on the tray, but then you've got to scrub the tray. So who wants to do that? No one.
Exactly.
So let me just get
Do
the
you want me to hold
last,
that for
if you
you?
can hold that, get the last bits out.
Yep. I'll even get the whisk attachment out.
This becomes your best friend, a nice spatula.
I just had to have a taste. It's like marshmallowy, delicious.
Okay, there we go. Last bit on there, don't waste any.
And that's for me.
That's for you to lick the bowl. Okay, and all we're going to do now is just using that 20 centimetre gauge, we're just going to try and shape it into a round. So if we push it down.
Look at that, it looks so gelatinous.
I mean, you could bake it like this if you want it to be a really artistic piece.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you'll see when it bakes, you do get a bit of collapse happening in the centre,
Yep.
so don't panic about that.
It's normal.
Exactly,
Yep.
because that collapse just means that you have got a crispy outside and really nice gelatinous inside. So if we just shape those sides as straight as you can.
And tracing that circle is such a good idea because look at it, it just makes it so much easier.
You've been able to, get a perfect shape.
Yeah,
And
perfect shape.
be patient, take your time. A pav is usually a centerpiece of the table, so if you want, you could bake it like this right now if you don't want to make it too fancy. But all I'm going to do is put that aside here.
You get
I'm
another
going to show you another trick. I'm going to use the back of a little teaspoon to create some nice little edges on the side. So you've got to get kind of low for this to see how it works. And what you'll see is if I go kind of up, I'm creating little spikes
Nice.
and creating a bit of shape in the pav.
That looks fantastic. Can
And
I
then just
go
work,
there?
you're gonna do the rest. And then
Sure.
as you're doing it, just kind of work your way around the tray and keep on moving it.
So, how long are we cooking this one in the oven for?
So I've got the oven preheated at 150, fan forced. As soon as I put the pav in, I'm going to turn it down to 100 degrees and we're going to bake it for about an hour and 10 minutes. But what you can do is just give it a little tap and see if it is crispy. If the outside is not crispy yet, just give another 10 minutes, test it again. And the crucial bit now is when it has fully baked, turn off the oven and leave it in there for about 3 hours. And what that's going to ensure is that the eggs are kind of relaxing down, the pav is not going to crack.
All right, well, I'll finish making these little grooves in the pavlova and then we'll go in the oven and then we can get onto that beautiful Banoffee
Banoffee mix.
part of it.
Yep.
I know.
So our pav's out from the oven. It's nice and cool.
Yes.
What I'm going to get you to do is whip up some of the cream. So we're using a mixture of creme fraiche and cream.
Okay.
And that way it's just going to give a really nice kind of bit of sourness to the cream as well.
Yeah, it's a nice combination.
Yeah, but we're not going to be putting any sugar in it. I mean, the pav's already got a lot of sugar. We're going to be garnishing with a lot of sugar.
Yep.
So it's quite nice to have something that's a bit more subtle.
Exactly.
I've got 3 bananas here, and what I'm going to do first is I'm going to use one of the bananas just as a quick layer underneath. So we'll just take our banana and give it a quick slice. And for those who don't know what banoffee pie is, generally it's quite an American dessert,
Yeah.
which, you know, got those great flavours of toffee and banana and a bit of crunch in there as well, but it's in a pie. But we're just borrowing those flavours for our pav. So if we just go down, these bananas are going to be hidden, so you don't need to worry about how they're cut. Sprinkle them all over. And just some of those peanuts where we're going to be getting some crunch.
Oh, yum.
So it's a bit of a surprise when you dig in. And now what I'm going to be doing is bruleeing some of the bananas. So if we get 2 more bananas,
Yep.
and I get to play with the flames, which is always a bit of fun. Okay, and with these bananas, I'm just going to halve them all the way down the centre.
Nice.
And then just halve them again.
I do love a classic pavlova with kiwi fruit over it,
Yeah.
strawberries. But at the same time, it's really refreshing to see a different take on it.
Yeah.
And all of these flavours go really nicely with a toffee-style meringue.
Exactly.
Bananas, peanuts.
Yeah. Okay, so what I've got now is I've got those bananas sliced up. And if we just go on with some caster sugar
Okay.
and just give them each a decent layer. Okay, and so if you get that creme fraiche in there as well,
Can do.
and then continue whipping it.
The whole tub?
Yep, the whole tub.
Yeah, I love creme fraiche. That slight tanginess makes such a difference,
it's
doesn't
beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to play with the blowtorch. So if we just fire it up, careful.
it? And you can find them at good cookware stores.
Yep.
Or also hardware stores have them too.
Exactly. So in kind of light strokes, that's the action you want to do. You want to start burning some of that sugar. Okay, so I'm going to continue doing this, Juz.
Yep.
You need to whisk the cream until it's all done for me. Come on.
Getting a good workout here. Was those bananas look spectacular? Banana brulee, who would have thought? Crunchy on the top.
Crunch on top. Make sure you do cool them down because you don't want hot bananas on top of your cream. So cool those down once we're done with them. How's the cream
is
looking?
ready to go. I'm just the last minute. I always
Yeah.
just like to give it a little zhuzh up.
While you're doing that anyway, I've just got some honeycomb and you could just chop them up. So if we just get some of that honeycomb and just give that honeycomb a bit of a chop, and this is a great garnish. And what we've got here, I've got just some store-bought caramel.
Yes.
This is beautiful stuff, but if we can just thin it down with a bit of milk, that way we can drizzle it over the
Can
pav.
do. A few generous spoonfuls.
Yeah, yeah. Don't be
Look
shy.
at that, thick and rich. There we go. And then some milk.
Yep, just to thin it out and whisk that together.
Great.
Awesome.
And then this is coming together, so it's thinning. Would you like it to be a little
Tiny
thinner?
bit more milk,
Yep.
just so like when you know, picking it up, it's dribbling down a bit,
dribble.
and that way we can drizzle it all over the pav.
How's that?
Looking much better, great. Perfect.
Okay.
Awesome, get that spoon in there, ready. So we'll go in with the cream. So this is where you want to try and get a bit prettier. So if we go with that cream and start hiding all that, you know, the surprise bananas in that, and just do big dollops. And what you're doing here is you want to kind of create some little caves and pools where all
Yep.
that caramel can go.
Nice.
So we'll just dump that in again.
I'm not saying too much just because
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
just in awe of how beautiful this looks.
Right?
Next.
If we just take a spoon and I'm just gonna create some more of those pools and just, you know, give a bit of shape to it. Okay, so we're gonna start decorating.
Okay.
I'm gonna put on some of these bananas. If
Yep.
you can grab some of these peanuts
Sure can.
and the chocolate as well. I've used dark chocolate just so it's a bit more bitter. And if we just start placing these bananas, random spots, we've got such nice, beautiful brulee bananas.
Look at this teamwork.
Yeah.
And a bit more peanuts.
Perfect. Bit of dark chocolate while I get some of this honeycomb on and just get some of those crunchy bits. If we go on with this caramel, which you've loosened up beautifully, I mean, look at that. Kind of go crazy. And what you want to do is let's get some drips on the side
When you
No,
think that
there's
you
the
can't do
Nova.
any more for this.
and just give it a bit more on top. And then you can finish it off with that chocolate and we are good to go.
Okay. The crowning of this spectacular pavlova, not any pavlova, Warren's Banoffee pavlova. The only way you could describe that is a work of art. You are brilliant. That pavlova is brilliant.
We just need a spoon now, that's all.
Oh, I'm going to need like a big spoon for this.